Alright, Knights of Apollo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another glorious Rome 2 Siege battle. Now before we dive into today's battle, I gotta show you something hilarious. It's weird. It's kind of weird and very unlikely, and I don't want to say what it is, but I'll just show you. Okay, so I'm gonna press play here. We're in slow motion. Alright, and hopefully I don't miss it. But we got an archer unit. Okay, let me just show you where this archer unit is. It's on this building, right, inside the settlement. Okay, so behind the walls. They're just chilling up here, you know, waiting to support their fellow infantry, you know, when the battle starts. So we're just sitting here, and, oh! Boom! Boom! An arrow! An arrow out of nowhere, okay? Like, one, maybe, I think I saw 2 arrows go overhead. I think it came from... Did it come from the siege tower? I think it did. I think it came from the scorpion of the siege tower. Okay, so like this isn't like super unlucky. Like this does make sense. You know, this would be firing at infantry they can see, and you would be able to see the archers from here. You know, yeah, you can see them. So it's not like super crazy, but I'm just thinking like, imagine being this guy and just a freaking scorpion comes out of nowhere. It just kills you. It just killed one guy. It did injure 2 others. But yeah, so I don't know. I thought that was hilarious and I really wanted to show you that. I think he continues to shoot at the unit, but for some reason when I first did the intro, I thought the arrow came from this way, you know, from this direction. Anyways, I thought it was goofy. I probably wasted your time. Let's go ahead and dive into today's battle. I do want to say this video is sponsored by Ivacy VPNs. If you guys are looking for a good VPN, look no further. There's a link in the description to their website, and there is a discount code, so check that out, guys. So here we are with the Defense of Athens. Now, this is going to be a great battle replay for some really important defensive tactics. If you're still trying to learn how to get a little bit better at siege battles or whatnot, I think you'll see some well-executed tactics in this battle in terms of defending the wall and cav sally out, okay? So we'll try to cover that very clearly in today's battle. So what you're going to see is me play as Saba, which I've never played before, so I was kind of new to them. So yeah, I'm using Saba. They got some good mercenary forces that you can bring to the table. And then next to me, we have Dan, who's leading Macedon. He is the player that's going to do... Dan's known for his cav sally out play. Like, he's really good with the cav sally out. So you'll see that in today's battle. And then finally, over here, we have the Dristan Kingdom, which is led by Armored Scarab. So those are the players and armies attacking. I don't remember the player names, but we have Egypt. And then over here, we have the Seleucids. And then over here, we have the infamous Kush. So Kush, very good faction. So are you guys ready? Let's do this. Yeah, I should have been doing slow motion there. But the battle starts off pretty quickly. I am using some artillery up here. I think I'm trying to take out his artillery by the looks of it. And the funny thing is that I was streaming this on my Twitch. Which, you guys are going to kill me. And by the way, he destroys my artillery. You guys are going to kill me, but I might go back to YouTube. Just because I don't really want to get into it on this video, but in a nutshell, I just feel like Twitch is more for like mainstream, like streamed games, like shooters and like Fortnite and, you know, Fortnite and PUBG and whatever. So I just feel like I reach more of you guys on YouTube, and yeah, so that's why I think I'm gonna go on YouTube. Anyways, artillery bombardment going on. They destroyed my artillery. So the mentality you want to have here for defending walls is you want to look at where they can attack from. Like, for example, like where they can go down the walls. So you've got little locations here. So you got little stairways that goes up and down the walls. Got a couple by the gate here, and you got one over here. So you want to keep a mental note of these locations because you do not want to lose these at all. Because as soon as, like, for example, let's say Kush takes this wall, if they hold this wall right here and they have access to this, they're gonna start pouring down, and it's gonna make things tricky, right? So you want to really try to defend all these openings as much as possible. And then what you do is, even if you're outnumbered, you know, send a unit. I wish I could draw on the wall. Send a unit here, send a unit here, and here, and here, and here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. That's it. 5 units. You can hold with the 5 units, and then use your archers and put them like right here and here, and then they can start firing at the flanks of the attacking infantry, while you have less troops, and maybe even lesser in terms of skill, hold against much more skilled units. And that's what I'm going to try to pull off here today. I also am getting flanked over here a little bit by the Seleucids. So the Seleucids are attacking this little pocket where they can attack, and I'm just defending it with what I have, which is just a couple troops. Though I told Macedon Dan, I was like, hey man, can you send over some units to help me out over here? So he's got a couple, I think, Royal Peltis, which is a really good unit. They're gonna help out, but right now I'm fighting for these walls. Again, don't want to give up this spot right here. And I have another unit of infantry coming around this way to support and surround the Seleucid infantry. So we should easily win this one. The walls are getting attacked, which is no good, because some of the troops will fall, but most of them will be okay. So that's totally fine. Meanwhile, we have the Seleucids also pushing very, very aggressively on this wall over here. And then finally we have Egypt, who is just rushing these walls, but the Dristan Kingdom seems like they're kind of taking a more passive approach, kind of giving up the walls and letting them kind of come in a little bit. So he's kind of playing the field a little bit, you know. He's going to use the streets and stuff. But also the Dristan Kingdom and Egypt are the two factions furthest away from their allies, so this will most likely be a one-on-one battle without much support. So anyways, let's go back to normal speed. Also, Dan's cav is right here. Keep that little mental note. Very good use of it. Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and explain how to use some cav, because I feel like there's some things that you need to know. Cav is an interesting, like, Sally Out cav is really important because you can get the enemy's archers by surprise, and it's really about the way you do it. So I know some players, and it really just depends on the situation, like how the enemy deploys, but some players will, right as soon as the match starts, send out cav, which might be a valid tactic if their army deployment, like for example, let's say there's an army right here and they've got archers right in the front. Sending out cav would get them by surprise. But sometimes you're taking more experienced players that guard their archers right at the beginning. So what you want to do is wait with your cav until they're so tunnel vision focused on the wall battle that then you send out cav and you go for the archers while they're so focused on the infantry. By the way, Macedon is holding these breach points wherever he can, using kind of the buildings as a choke point. So good on Macedon holding this front against the Hillmen. Then we got some thorax swords versus Hillmen over on this side. So while that's going on, Kush is slowly making it to the walls. I think he was having a little issue with the siege towers. There's a little glitch with the siege towers, how they'll like stop and go. You see that? They'll stop and go, stop and go. It's really frustrating. I don't know if anyone knows how to like prevent that glitch, because I remember that happening to me, and it's like, what do? You just keep going. But it's just frustrating because the longer it takes them to get to the walls, the more likely they are going to get damaged. Another thing is that I was streaming this and my allies were like, hey, be careful putting archers up in this building because all it takes is like 1 to 2 hits from artillery. And I was like, all right, well, my opponent shouldn't be watching the stream, so hopefully they don't know that. Okay, so that was my mentality going into that. Now we've got some Sabian swords taking on the Hillmen of the Seleucid. Seleucid's bringing a lot of Hillmen to this battle, kind of using them as a meat shield, a brute force, to kind of just try to take control of certain spots. But the thorax swords over here are getting crushed. You can see my archers are opening fire on them. By the way, I've got 4 of these Sabian archers. So, yeah. which is the rules for this battle. Max 4 archers, max 2 pikes, max 1 artillery, which is kind of like the standard rules for Rome 2 siege battles. And there you go. They are breaking. They are done. Now that I have defeated the troops on the walls, I can focus against these the Seleucid army that's really trying to push through this breach point. And there is a little bit of a flank for these royal peltas to hit these the hillmen. But the hillmen are not too big of a concern. Not too big of a concern at all. Okay, so now that that's going on, we can see on the mini-map here, the cav has now been pushed out. And just look at the Seleucids. Now, I just want to say, and I know this is more of an educational video than entertainment video, and I do apologize if you're not liking me explain stuff in a lot of detail, but the Seleucids are a good target because they are focusing on multiple fronts. And that's even a better chance, like you have a better chance of surprising your opponent when they are attacking on multiple fronts, because they're going to be so focused on these two battles. So, and these two fronts are pretty far away, so he's going to kind of, you know, shift around, be like, okay, how are these doing? Okay, how are these doing? You know, he won't have time or as much time to look around at his surroundings and see that there's 3 freaking deadly shock cav headed towards his direction. And by the way, archers completely undefended. He does have some infantry over here, but they're really far away. And at this point, he still has a chance. He still has a chance to rush the archers inside and get them out of the way of the cav. But we'll see how that plays out. So let's press some play. Let's press some play. So the cav's still going. At this point, it's, I would say, right here. It's too late. Okay, maybe not right there. I would say it's probably too late once he passes the stone wall, which is right here. And there you go. The archers are screwed. They are just not going to be fast enough to maneuver anyway. He's got his archers blobbed up. That's another thing. Try to keep your archers separated for various reasons, but this is one of the reasons. Cav can... Oh, God. And this is just going to be a absolute smash into the side of these archers. And they break through 3 units in that charge. They get through the 3rd unit. And they are just crushing these archers. You've got to look out for cav whenever you're attacking. Well, that's the thing, guys. That is the thing. Attackers, they're like, okay, the defenders, they're going to focus on defending the walls. They're going to be inside the walls. Well, not always. You got to be careful. Also, the general is isolated over here. He could have went for a general kill. Generally, you know, like surrounded him. But no, he's just going to finish off the archers, which is honestly the biggest target you want to go for. Even bigger than the general. Take out archers, because they can kill so many, you know, of your defending troops. It can be a big problem. So he's just breaking. He's like peeling away. I think now he's sending over a unit of cav to stop the general. So he's going to sacrifice 1 unit of cav to hold the general back so he can continue to just slaughter these archers. And sure enough, the archers are gone. And the Seleucids have pretty much lost any kind of killing power, because that's what archers are for. Killing defenders, killing stationary units, or even killing, you know, defending archers. And it's basically like declawing a lion, you know? Like the lion can still kill you without claws, but it's not going to be nearly as effective. Or hunting, you know. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say like killing humans. I think it would be fine. Like just a human with no weapon. You know, like lions would easily be able to kill you without claws. But when hunting, claws are big. Anyways, it's a stupid analogy. You get what I'm saying. God, just stop. Cringe. Okay, so while this is going on, let's look at the wall battle here. So sure enough, I'm holding the key locations. I've got reserves waiting in the streets. I do have 1 unit holding the gate just in case they decide to go through the gates. And oh boy, yeah, okay, we missed it, but he shot at my building here. So this was kind of tragic. I don't know if Benno is the person playing as Kush. I don't know if he was watching the stream and he heard that, but he targeted this building pretty early on to the point where it's like, are they stream sniping me? How did they know to go for this building? Is it because we talked about it? Anyways, it's not a big deal. I did lose an entire archer unit, but at least I got something out of them. They kind of shot at the Seleucids attacking the wall. But it is a big loss right there, kind of for my army. So anyways, back this way, we got 2 units holding this point here. And actually, we only have 1 unit holding this point. So they could charge down these stairs over here, but it would be kind of suicide because I do have a unit kind of waiting for them. But yeah, I'm just holding these key points. And I'm kind of waiting, right? I'm waiting for these forces to kind of blob up before I start using my archers. There we go. Now I'm placing my archers in place. I made sure to turn off fire at will. That's another thing you want to do, but just make sure you remember, turn off fire at will. That way you can be very selective of your targets with your archers. And here we go. I've also got my Sabian archers over here on this side about to open fire. Let's see. What are they going for? Ah, they're going for this one. Also, another thing that you want to focus on is you want to hit this side of the army or unit, excuse me. This side of the unit, not this side, right? So this target that I'm shooting at with this archer unit, it's not a good angle. That's not a great angle for me. And I think eventually what I do is I change this unit's positioning. I honestly should just be shooting at like this unit from that angle if they can reach. But this archer unit has a much better angle because they are firing at the backs of the infantry. Now this archer unit's still going to get kills, but I think they could be way more effective if you're firing at the backs. You're going to kill them much faster, less ammo. So yeah, that's why this unit's starting to break. I have another archer unit opening fire, and they've got a better angle here. You can see a lot of the arrows. Oh god, just littering these men with arrows right in their side. And even though the infantry here, I'm not sure. Let's see who's better. I think my infantry is better, but eventually they are going to send up those Shotel warriors, which are going to be a big problem. But yeah. I'm going to be able to hold off here with fewer troops thanks to the archers. Okay, and we are crushing the Seleucids over here thanks to these Royal Peltas. Macedon is still holding against the Seleucids. And the Seleucids are so just... they're so demoralized. There's the Cav still alive, still going strong. And the Cav, what he decides to do here is now that he has the element of surprise is gone. Like, here's another thing I wanna mention about the Cav play. Now that your Cav has engaged and the enemy is well aware of your Cav force, it's okay to just fall back and wait. Sometimes players, and I'm even guilty of doing this, when you charge your Cav in, you might get a couple good Cav charges, and then you're like, okay, that's enough. Now I'll just fight something. You know, like, I'll just charge in the Cav and let them fight to the death. No, don't do that. Charge in, get some hits on the archers, and then fall back until they forget about you again, and then move in again. You know, it's a waiting game. That's honestly what Sally Out Cav maneuvers are all about. It's a patience thing. Wait until the enemy forgets. And they will, trust me guys, they will forget about your Cav. If you just gotta be patient, and your timing has to be really, you know, your timing is key when hitting these units. So, one thing to keep a little mental note on. I also have, I have some Cav right here, my general. Which, you know, Dan inspires me to get aggressive with my Cav. You'll see here in the future of this battle. But so far, we are crushing Kush as they attack these walls. And they keep sending in more and more reinforcements. The arrow towers, unfortunately, are not active. And he is now charging the gate. So the oil is not going to work because we don't have this under our control. But that's okay. Even without oil... this is a really tough position to attack. It's so narrow, and I've got this caravan guard, which is just an excellent defensive unit that's going to be able to hold these guys back for so long. So these units are breaking now, which is good, because what I'm going to do is quickly. Actually, no, I got to keep this unit here because he's going to send up reinforcements up the siege tower. So what I was going to say is what I was going to do is rush these guys over to attack the rear. Doesn't even matter because these guys are breaking. And I'm going to go ahead and push up these units a little bit. Slaughter these guys. And prepare for the next wave of infantry. We're holding over here as well. And we are capturing this back, which is good. A lot of these units are just glitched out, routing on the wall. Like, they just don't know where to go. So they're just standing there. Which is another thing you got to be careful of. Don't shoot at these units with your archers. Focus on the healthy units. Like this unit right here, this needs to be focused down. The Shotel warriors, especially that they're Shotel warriors, and they're just throwing javies, it looks like, the backs of my infantry. So I really got to focus them down. And also have some noble swordsmen coming up to fight. So I'm kind of just pushing everything I have in terms of infantry to get over there and support this wall battle. Because I don't want to lose this wall, and I'm willing to send my entire army to defend it. Because so far, I feel like I'm winning this battle in terms of, you know, kill D. Like the attackers are sacrificing too much. Caravan guard still holding against the Kushite slave infantry. Not a big deal there. I am starting to break over here. And, you know, this is going to happen. And what you want to do is just send up more units. So I've got some mercenary Morib guard. I don't know if I pronounced that right. But it's a heavy spear infantry. And I'm going to rush them up over to the stairway here. And I'm pretty sure... I'm not sure if I just... defend... Okay, what is happening here? What is this? I think I'm trying to get them up on the wall. But, you know, buggy roam too. It can be an issue. Yeah. And look, my units stopped routing there, which is good. So they got, you know, they got a little extra life in them. And I think I'm actually sending units up this way. The noble swordsmen are going up this way of the gate. This little entrance. And then I'm going to hit this unit from the flank. So, let's do some slow motion. We haven't seen our good pal, the Dristan Kingdom. And let's see how this is turning out. It looks like Egypt is starting to get a little bit of a hold on this this part of the battle. And this is not good. Because he's got easy access to the capture point, which is right here. Which is why I love Athens. The capture point is really interesting. Because you've got this, like, terrain that the attackers can use to fire down at the point. And you got this beautiful temple of Athena that looks over the point. I don't know. It's just really cool, in my opinion. So let's press play and just, yeah, that's what's going on here. The Dristan Kingdom doing what he can to slow down Athens. I think he realizes that he's not going to beat Athens, but what he needs to do is slow them down. So hopefully we can beat our opponents, and then we can send reinforcements to his side. So he's just playing the slow game. And sure enough, there we go. Sometimes the walls are a little glitchy, so it's better to be prepared to send up troops early than late, because if you're late, and they might not go up on these walls fast enough because they're glitching out. So it's something to look out for. And now my archers are going to focus down their archers, which you can see right here. So again, taking out enemy archers when they're in range is always a good move. And I think he's trying to fight back. Yeah, he's going after my archers too. So it's a little archer v archer battle. But that's okay. You know, if I start losing archers, that's fine. I've already used up a lot of their ammo at this point, and things are looking really good. So look at this. Remember this cav unit? Again, he waited. He waited and waited. And now he's running behind the Seleucid opponent. What is he going to do? Oh, he's switching targets. He's actually going to move to Kush. Macedon is going to move to Kush and try to surprise their army. Because sometimes, you know, it is smart to go for other armies because they're like, okay, Seleucids are getting attacked, but I'm not. So he's now going to move his cav over and try to get the Kushite forces by surprise. And again, Kush is super focused on this wall. Super focused on the wall. So Noble Swordsman holding. Noble Swordsman's like my best infantry unit, so they're going to be able to hold for a while. Also, I'm seeing archers being tossed up onto the walls, so that's a good sign that, like, he's out of ammo. We are starting to lose over here a little bit with my spears. I don't think I have any reinforcements. Actually, okay. Okay. Let me just show you something really fast here. This is funny. I have 2 units of Desert Levee that I completely forgot about. This is like classic me. I completely forgot about this Desert Levee, but that's okay. You know, it's not like they're super great or anything. They would have been helpful on this wall battle, but it's okay. It's good having reserves, whether you mean to have reserves or you don't mean to have reserves. I still have 1 unit of reserve over here of spears that I can send up here, but we're causing a lot of breaking going on for Kush, and they are pouring in more and more troops, but that's okay. I'm feeling confident in my archers. I'm feeling confident in my infantry that they're going to be able to hold here and take them out. And look at this. Look at this. Now that Macedon... by the way, Macedon's cav is going in for the kill. Now that Macedon has pretty much defeated the archers of the Seleucids, they still have a little bit of units here, but most of this army is defeated. Now that they defeated this force, he's now going to be able to send his archers to help me. So that's going to be even double trouble for him. And look at this. He's going straight for the general. Why? Because the general is an archer unit. And Dan, once again, being MVP of this battle, taking out huge parts of, like, very important parts to enemy armies, which of course are these archers. So he's doing what he can to try to run them down. He does have a little cav support by the Desert Cavalry, by Kush, but he's just going to ignore that cav and go for the general. And there's really not much the general can do. At the same time, I am shifting over my general because I want some of that action, that cav action. So again, a little delayed cav sally out. Let's see what I can get done with it. So unfortunately, my my unit here of this guard, the spear guard, is breaking to the Shotel warriors because they're so heavily armored. That's where Shotel warriors really excel, is their armored piercing. Not sure what's going on here. I guess I'm just holding position. That's fine. And then Macedon, look at this. Macedon's been opening fire. Good teamwork here on Kush, and it caused a huge Kush force to break. Just a huge force to break. The gate battle is underway. Actually, Shotel warriors are getting shot in the back by these archers. Oh, now my archers are charging in because they're out of ammo. Yeah, so they rushed down these stairs. Their backs were open to my archers, and I just shot them in the back as they took on my my infantry who are holding the gate still. My general is now way over here trying to get to something that the enemy has. And then the Dristan Kingdom has fully retreated to the town center. So he is now the first line of defense for the town center, and he's going to have to take on a very healthy Egyptian army. And you can see the balance of power is still in favor of the attackers. Even though we've had such huge successes over here, Kush, I mean, even though I held the wall mostly against Kush, they took out a lot of my infantry in the process. But that's okay. You know, I won, but I did take heavy casualties. But honestly, if I let them take the wall and I like fell back into the streets, he would have killed me. Like, there would have been, like, the walls are so important because they give you such a big advantage. Oof. Now I have archers holding back these Shotel warriors because I don't want them to escape this area. You see how they're cornered in here? I can easily just send one unit to hold right here and keep these guys positioned in this little pocket. So what I'm trying to do is rush over whatever I have to try to hold them and contain them. I'm also rushing a unit of swords, noble swordsmen, very healthy, that have won their battle against the Kush forces, and I'm gonna go ahead and send them behind. So this is what I got going on, okay? So I'm gonna hold them here as soon as I can. I'm also gonna attack them here. Let me use the red arrow. Attack them here. So that is the key, or that is not the key. That is my what am I talking about? That is my tactic here. Surround him. He thinks he's pushing through. Oh no, he's pushing through into a trap. So that's what I'm hoping for. So the gate battle is still going on. We are actually losing a lot of infantry, and they are just hammering this gate. They've got infantry, they got cav. That's okay though, because my general is behind enemy lines, and their general is dead, by the way. So we're gonna charge in, take out the artillery. It's most likely out of ammo, but this is just a moral victory. Like, you know, we're like a victory just to like, hey, you know, I got your artillery, even though you don't need it anymore, you know? Like, screw you. So we're gonna quickly kill them. And at this point, guys, this is a race against the clock. Not the actual clock, like the game battle clock, but the clock of the Egyptian attack. And they are attacking, okay? They are pushing. So this is gonna be a real problem. We need to hurry up and start sending troops over there. But I got to finish off Kush. You know, I've got to kill Kush. And he is starting to break through one of my depleted units. That's okay. I'm just buying time. We crushed the other units over here. And now I can send this unit down this way in attack. And just stop these Shotel warriors. And the gate is getting a little out of control because of the cav. They're just pushing through my infantry. So it's now time for my general to send some help. And I'm going to send my general to the gate. And I'm going to have the Kush forces surrounded. So let's go ahead and get a nice cav view. This is one of my favorite views here. Look at that. That is cool. The siege tower's on fire there. That looks sexy. So they're going to push in. And they're going to charge and just stick those spears where the sun don't shine. Right in the back of... right in the back of these Kush forces. And that's going to cause a huge rout. And that's Kush. Kush is out of the game. Okay, Kush is out of the game. The Seleucids are still in the game. I want to give some credit to the Seleucids here of being patient and just staying alive. Because sometimes, guys, sometimes even if you're getting destroyed, right? You're having a tough time. You're struggling against your opponent. Hold back the attack. Take it really slow and wait for your teammate to push. Because by him just having a presence on this battlefield, it makes the Macedonian forces have to stay here and defend. They can't fall back. Now, I can fall back with my tiny force here because I completely crushed the Kush forces. And Macedon probably could fall back a couple of units here and there. But my troops are going to start to head over there. And again, it's a race against the clock. It really is. Again, I still have these units. I haven't realized I still have them. But what I'm worried about and what the Dristan Kingdom needs to do is prevent them from obviously taking this and then setting up a defensive position. Because I could probably, with the mix of Macedon and my army, we could probably kill Egypt. Right? But that's not the problem. Not killing Egypt. The problem is that if he establishes a front line, it's going to take too long to break through, and they're going to win by capturing the town center. So we need to hurry up and get in there and prevent that. And the Dristan Kingdom's doing what he should. He's throwing units, like a couple units at a time at them. He's trying to slow them down. He's got some mercenary hoplites that are slowing him down. Yes, they're getting hit with arrows, and he's just kind of taking it, but that's all he can really do. He doesn't want to give up this path, and he wants this to be as painful as possible for the Egyptians when trying to, try to take this position. So, I am walking my troops over, and this is when I tell them to run, because I wanted to walk them over to kind of let them rest a little bit after fighting such a long and tough battle against Kush, but I don't have time. And I need to rush them over. Macedon is now rushing troops over because he has pretty much defeated the Seleucids. He's got like one more unit over here, but these guys are going to be able to handle it. He doesn't need everybody over here, so he's pushing over to this town center. And this is literally a race to the town center. Look at the balance of power, too. It's still even. It is slightly going back up in our favor, or up in our favor. I don't think it ever was in our favor, but it is slightly going up in our favor. But that doesn't matter. If we don't get there in time, we're not going to make it. And look at this. Look at this tactic here. Well done by the Dristan Kingdom, trying to just slow them down. And if I was Egypt, I would be pushing hard. He kind of waited too long here. He's got pikes. Pikes can easily fight through hoplites. But he's kind of taking a little too long, which is good for us. But if I was Egypt, I'd be going ham. I'd be like, push, 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 rush, rush, rush. Like, take this town center, because that is my only hope. These Thracian nobles, they're going to shred these guys. Thracian nobles are deadly. It was unfortunate that I wasn't able to pull off a charge here, because if you get a charge with Thracian nobles, like, they have a really good charge bonus of 63. Like, really good. Like, compared to the Thorax Swordsman, which is 18. Like, yeah, it's pretty nasty. And, oh, sure enough, Idiot Apollo has finally figured out that he's got some Desert Levee. Now, are Desert Levee good? No, they're not good at all. The only reason I got them is because it brought my gold to 0. You know, you got to get that perfect 0 gold when you're spending on your army. But they are still helpful in terms of just having numbers in something the enemy has to worry about. So I'm going to send them around this way and support those what are they called again? The Thracian nobles. Thracian. So I got my general in position. My general is here. So he's the first one of my army to make it to this town center. And I'm going to be looking for, you know, this is another little thing to keep a note on, is like whenever the enemy is kind of panicking, like pushing in, if you got a unit of cav, wait for them to panic too much and they leave units open. For example, right here, you see this? He's got 1, 2 units of slingers. They might be out of ammo, but it doesn't matter, because if you inflict a lot of casualties on the enemy, it will cause morale loss, even if you're just taking out a cheap little unit. So I see a little gap right there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going for that gap. That gap smells juicy. So we're going to charge right into that gap and tell that gap what for. So let's press play, charge through the gap, get those archers, and they got, look at it, it's like, oh crap. He's running his archers back, and this is a perfect, look at that, perfect. We rush in the general. My general's fresh too, by the way, so he's not too tired. There we go. We crush these archers. He's dealing with the Dristan Kingdom, some Thracian nobles. I like how he saved his Thracian nobles for the end here, because they are tough to kill, and they will get a lot of kills. My Desert Levee's still making their way. They're still hidden from the enemy too, by the way, so that's good. And then the rest of my army is rushing to the town center. Here comes mercenary archers. They're probably out of ammo. They're rushing to the center. And I do run into some traps here. This is my bad. I run into these caltrops, which just kind of slaughter my general, right? Yeah, they lost like 20 men there running through that. I hate deployables, honestly. Like, I see how they can be beneficial and stuff. Like, they are effective, but so many times I just forget about them, and they kill my own men. I didn't deploy these here. I just, yeah, I just assume I'm not going to run into deployables because I'm a defender. But, yeah, I'm having to retreat my general because they are chasing him down with infantry. That's good. It's keeping infantry away from this front line. Unfortunately, the Dristan Kingdom is breaking now. Thracian nobles getting focused down by pikes. But he did what he needed to do. He held this town center long enough for reinforcements to arrive. Now, at this point of the battle, guys, we have to just hold. We've got to hold and hope that we can crush the Egyptians and defeat them. You know, now that we're here, we've got to beat them. So noble sword infantry charging into these axemen. Noble swords are exhausted. They are exhausted, but they have no choice but to stand their ground and fight. And I'm just trying to hold some sort of front line. You know, just trying to establish any kind of front line. Let's zoom out here, you can see, and here comes my Desert Levee. Nice, going after some archers. Everything adds up, guys. And what I did is I actually sent a Desert Levee all around this flank. I'm trying to get behind them. It's unfortunate that I have to go all around because they were here. Sent it around here. It's going to take forever to get around, but at this point it doesn't even matter because they don't really have any units back here. So it's kind of a waste of time, but that's okay. So these pikes are being a real problem, causing some of my caravan guard to break. My noble swords are going to be a tough unit for them to fight. I've got another unit of reserve, trying to rest them as much as possible before I have to throw them into the battle. And Macedon actually went around the flank. You see this? He sent his units around the flank. And he had trust in my army that I was going to be able to hold long enough to where he can establish a flanking maneuver and be able to get to, you know, surround the Egyptians. And here we go, mercenary guard charging in. I didn't really want to fight the pikes, obviously, so I'm trying to avoid the pikes as long as possible. And then I rush the general. I'm now charging the general because if we can kill, obviously if we kill the Egyptian general, that could cause a chain rout. And look at this, guys. We got some Egyptians breaking. There's a little bit of a gap here. Actually, that's a huge gap. And now, yeah, we've outflanked the Egyptians. They're causing a mass rout. And that, like, right there, guys, is going to be the battle. We were able to hold on to the city just by the skin of our teeth. And we hold back the Egyptians. And, yeah, we take this one. So, really great teamwork by everyone on my team. Everybody did a great job of just holding and doing their. If everybody does their job, then it's going to be a victory. And Dristan did a great job of slowing down the Egyptians until we could get over there. And yeah, I hope this battle has given you a good look into defending walls and cav sally outs. I know I kind of paused and I did a lot of slow motion to do some explaining, but hopefully you didn't mind that too much and you enjoyed the, you know, the info. I don't know. But yeah, here is the end results, guys. Really good job by my teammates here. Dan did a great job. If we look at Dan's army, look at this. 221, 114, 223. His cav, I mean, crushing. He also had some mercenary Thracian warriors, 224. Ooh, those Thracian warriors, they are tough. And his archers did great. So cav and archers really, I mean, he just look at it, 329. I mean, he just got so many kills. He had a tiny army, but it doesn't matter. They were very skilled and they got plenty of kills. My army was much bigger by 1,000 troops, actually. And my archers did pretty solid. This is the archer unit that died from the collapsing building, but everyone else got near 200, almost 300 kills with this one. So my archers kind of saved the day there. My mercenary troops and my infantry is not amazing, but the noble swordsmen did well. 305. 201, 169, that's pretty good. But my mercenaries did okay. Spears did all right. So yeah, not too bad for my army. And my general getting 236 kills with that flanking charge. Here's armored stats. Let's see, the Thracian nobles and warriors doing a good job. Actually, you know what? The Thracian warriors not doing that great, but the nobles did fantastic. And his hoplites, his archers doing pretty solid there. And then we look at Dusty, who is the Seleucids. His archers kind of struggling, obviously losing them pretty early on. His infantry, I think the silver shield swordsman doing okay, and the thorax swordsman doing, I would say, even better if you compare the price and everything. Then we look at Beno. Sorry, I know someone, Beno, and then I know Bino. Anyways, and they're both British. I don't know if that's like a British. I know Mr. Bean is British, but like adding an O, Beno, Bino. Anyways, so yeah, he did good with the Shotel Warriors, and then Egypt, who I think did the best in their team, as they had the strongest army towards the end, and I think he got the most kills for his, actually one of the most kills out of everybody, except for me, of course. No, I'm just kidding. He did a really good job with the slingers, a decent job with the slingers. Pikes did good. His freaking thorax swordsman, thorax swordsman doing fantastic. And then his Galatian Royal Guard, really good. Those guys are really tough. Egypt's a tough faction. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up here, guys, for today's battle. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. If not, then leave a dislike. But thank you guys so much for the support, and I will see you guys next time on the battlefield.